Ah, yes. We will be continuing now with the Twitch interactions enabled. That was actually a lot of fun in the previous session, and hopefully we can have some more fun with that without, someone being a jerk and dropping a bear on my face. Random. As per usual, I have my ever-present drink of doom, the green poison itself. Hopefully I will not neglect it and it get warm like last week, but anywho, I believe we left off on night 7? Night 7. I have 7 more days until an assault on my base from the zombie jerks, and have a lot of things to prep for them. Some traps, maybe get into playing with the electrical concepts, and building a trench filled with spikes are all in order. But of course, first and foremost, I need more iron. And a friendly reminder, I enjoy all those people who hang out there in Lurkerland. You're all fantastic. But, if you want to make sure that you can get those wonderful notifications and those cheeky little messages that get sent to your phone via pinging, please smash that follow button. I don't really know how many people it actually helps, but I know it helps you and me. So that's probably enough, isn't it? Oh no! My mouse is gone. That means we're in. And the game is paused. Oh, lag spike. It is loading. Okay, what were we up to? Smelting iron. Medicine looks good. Food is terrible. Weapons are okay. Can always use more crafting mats. Always can use more crafting mats. If I recall correctly, I require rocks. Cobblestone rocks is what I need. But as it is quite literally the middle of the night, in-game, there's only so much that I can do without being a danger to myself and others. For starters, I have this amount of my wall to finish. That is it. All the way around has been secondarily layered. But I do have concrete on me, so I shall, in the meantime, run around and upgrade 35 of them to concrete level. Let's just prioritize this little battlement lip that I created. For anyone new to the idea of the game, this is effectively what happens when Minecraft marries what was it? Dying Light and had a baby, and this game is the baby. The only sensible thing to do is to run around now and make sure all these upgradable pillars upgrade to reinforced concrete. I see one little issue. There we go. Disabled during Blood Moon, use progression, default cooldown, blah 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 blah. There we go. I was not aware that I had to modify that every single time we came back to the game. But now I know. It's gonna take 5 minutes before it actually is usable. But those of you now in Twitch chat should be passively earning the points that you'll be able to spend. And my concrete is gone. That's unfortunate. There we go. I heard something. I know I just heard a zombie make a jump. Yeah, I heard it again. Very quiet chat. We're hunting zombies. Very curious. No! 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 That is the one song that is not allowed to play. Oops. Bizarre. Is that what I heard? The rabbit? I guess it was. Well, what can we say except free meat? This out by 1. This is the aforementioned trench. It is still very much the early stages of its construction. What can I say? I've had other priorities. Uh-oh. There it goes. There it goes, chat. The thing is, I think I will do one because I can. I hope I spelled that right. I might not be allowed to, Was it mass resources? Oh, I see. I did it wrong. Okay. Sup? I don't have a screen. Oh, I see what happened. There we go. I see what happened. A button got hit and it went to the wrong one. Also, what's up? Somehow I get the feeling that I can't spawn my own stuff. That's unfortunate. I don't understand what this SP is for. So I am playing 7 Days to Die, a zombie survival crafting game. But I have, as you see on the side there is an in-game, basically an in-game channel point system that is active that you are, yeah. I'm trying to see if my SP points are able to actually spawn my own stuff or if they're for something else completely. Because I have no idea what they're for. Because, like, from the previous session, I have 173 SP, whatever that is and whatever that does. Meanwhile, I'm just here digging a trench. While I try to figure that out. Yeah, I don't have a clue what the SP is for. Like, I wonder if I do. Yeah, I don't even know what the commands are supposed to be. This. What are hit points and special points? Hit points are earned by actively chatting in the streamer's chat. Oh. You're in a point every 10 seconds. Yep. Why would you do that? How rude. How rude. I know. But it looks like Special points are earned from spending bits in the channel and also by winning the Pimp Pot that are available to any save game you play. Both types of points are used for activating actions. The vault cap is 1,000 for non-subs and 2,000 for subs. Okay, so I should be able to. Chat command. Oh, okay, I see. I see what I didn't do. Okay. I figured it out. So if I want resources, I would do this, supply underscore resource, and then me. Yes? Maybe? Oh. It would help if I could spell anything. There we go. I got it. I got it to work. I did the thing. Oh, wow. That's actually a lot more than I expected. I figured it out, you guys. I'm not a complete dummy. Also, this music is oppressively loud on my end. Something like... Yeah, you gave me 25 damage for a short amount of time that I now have to heal. Yeah, it's supposed to be creepy, spooky music, but it's... Yeah, it's a mixture of either oppressively loud or just irritating. You see, like, this is better. This is just eerie ambience, which is what I wanted. But, you know, it... Had to be the dog sound, didn't it? Just had to be the dog sound. Just the worst sound in the game. Indeed it does. Oh boy. Why do I get the feeling this was a terrible, terrible decision to have a surprise stream today? I mean, what? Mistakes were made, chat. Mistakes were made. I should have just gone back to bed. Unfortunately, the mobs don't work unless I am outside of my safe zone, which is wherever my claim block happens to be, which is my base. Excuse me a moment. I have something far worse than a crawler to deal with. Well, you can't reuse abilities immediately. They go on a cooldown. Mercifully. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they didn't go on a cooldown? The number of people that would just be spamming scare. Granted, at the same time, it doesn't allow that one person to be like, here, you need every resource in the game right now. but monsters very, very rarely drop any loot. That's just not fair. No! No! No spawning the worst mobs in the game, being wild animals, ironically. I think the one major downside for the majority of people is that I am a heavy homebody. No, I'm still too close to my claim block. So you see on the top of the thing where it says safe, that right here, as long as it says safe, I'm too close to my claim block for mobs to be spawned. You can spawn anything else, but not the mobs. When I walk away from the claim block enough, it will change. It will change to active or available or something, and then mobs can be spawned. And I will be silently screaming the entire time. Especially since, well, on the plus side, my mine of everything is still safe for now. But yeah, you see the music that's playing right now is perfect. That hurts my soul. That hurts my soul. I'm just trying to dig a hole here. Yeah. I'm just confused how people have so... Well, okay, I guess the prices for a lot of the things are not particularly expensive. Oh, my shovel broke at the last second. There we go. But yeah, that center building I just walked through on the surface, that's where my claim block is, so more or less everything in my base is safe. I don't think I need quite that many. But I'm gonna make it anyway. Materials, plant down some dirt. Crafting materials, bop, 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 bop. Food. For acid. See about planting the last of it. Oop, I need to repair my shovel. I keep forgetting. Very important thing to do. Repair a shovel. There we go. Shovel repaired. I missed. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I put them on the wrong blocks. Dang it. Well, if that's the case, then that's generally what I always do then. Because I always build castles. Not to be confused with castles. I build castles. It's a TH instead of an ST. Put that over there. And... I hate you. I hate you. Well, the trader's not available. Nice try, sir. Nice try. This is what happens when I have two safe zones right next to each other. The trader is a safe zone right next to my base, which is also a safe zone with a teeny tiny window between them. I only have one. I'm not sure how I feel about some of those. Look at intern. Please note, if you do succeed in killing me, it lowers my game stage and then reduces the options you have to be able to play with. That is a thing. Did I give the who what now? Oh, no, the ads are automatic because the bot that I have. The purpose of those ads is to prevent the ad when you first jump in, so that new people don't have that barrier of coming into a new stream with a new streamer and then getting the ad that prevents. You see, the problem is you're going to get an ad either at the beginning or in the middle. I'm just dictating where it will be through the bot so that people don't get it the minute they come in, so that they come in, see ad, leave. You see, I heard that one coming. I saw that one coming. What is this? What is this? These meals are worthless. Oh no, if you knew what mob that was referencing, you would be very scared. I just knew for a fact there was no way that mob was here during the day. Because that mob is particularly scary. Just not when you know it's not possible for it to be there. Ow. It would help if my furnace had wood. Yes. Yes, you can. And you should. Oh my gosh, and now that I finally have that section upgraded, the last of my staircases can go up. Here's the thing. Oh my gosh, is that how I'm supposed to do it? No. That's weird. I have no idea how I'm supposed to spend the SP because it's not going down when I use it. You'd think it would go down, but it doesn't. Or maybe it's just showing my points and I just had my own cache of P points. I feel like... Oh, new actions are about... I see. But they didn't level. Huh. Oh, okay. Let's try it now. It would also help if I stopped hitting W instead of double P like I'm supposed to. Yeah, it doesn't work if I do it in the actual game. But I want the experiment. So I have 229. If I do supply meal. You see, I suspect the stay still one doesn't make me stay still. It makes the zombies stay still. That's why it was listed under buffs instead of debuffs. Yeah, I don't know. So some of them just don't see, well, I don't think we have sufficient. Oh, that's what it is. I don't have points for it. Okay, so it isn't functioning off of the SP that I have in the actual game. So my own. Oh, hello. Well, that's convenient. See, there's... This is the fantastic little claim block here that is preventing you from spawning mobs on me. Mwah. As the Gryffindor said to the Slytherin, you wish? Something like that? Now the question is, how do you see how many points you have? Specialty? No. No. Those are all the things in game. Huh. 4x4 part crate. Wow. Hashtag CP shows you. So if I do that, I have 147 points. As an example. You have 49 points. That was handy. Another tempered blade mod, but I don't have any weapons that could use it. Or anything that could use it. Actually. There we go. Now I should have a very small amount of points. Which is fair. So I guess the number in parentheses is where you are on the leaderboard. Yeah, they go up fairly quickly. The more active you are in the chat, the faster they go up. At least that's what I think I read. by 5. I durst not know to what you be with the referring toward. You get one every, so, like, let's see, what did it say? Earning points. By default, you earn 1 point, 2 for subscribers every 10 seconds for 5 minutes after the last message received. Okay, so you talk in chat, and you get 1 point every 10 seconds for 5 minutes. Or 2 if you're a subscriber. Special points are earned from spending bits in the channel and winning the pimp up, whatever that is. No. It's not 1 point. Yeah, 1 point every 10 seconds for 5 minutes after messaging in chat. So 5 minutes by 10 seconds, that's 30 points. So if you wrote one thing every 5 minutes, you would get 30 points every 5 minutes, which is about the generation. It's to encourage moderate. It's to encourage chat to be active without them having to be constantly active. But you know, while you have low points, I suppose now would be a safe time to venture out. I mean, what? Poopy Pants Daycare. Let's investigate this place. That's probably way too expensive. Yeah, it doesn't even say. But you can't do that. Does it give you a choice of what sound it makes, or is it a random sound? That door be locked. Curious. I found glue in the trash. I swear I'm not tempted to sniff it, chat. I think it does use points. Oh gosh. I should have seen that coming because it was obviously a leaper because of what it was. By the power of baseball bat. don't know. Nope. I have no idea how to do that, even if I was inclined to do so. Dead? Good. Because that's totally not ominous in any way, shape, or form. Gee, did I call it? Or did I call it? I did not see the second one. Yes, potato seed. Exactly what I desired. Yep. Wow, the military helmet has a light on it. We'll break down that. I can grab those, and then I can break down that. Still, nope, I got spare iron right there. Not a garbage, don't care about that. Nope, nope. That with that. Modify that to remove that. And then modify that to add that. I now have the most powerful melee weapon in the game. With the best mod for a melee weapon in the game. Yay? I guess? Almost got me with that one. Almost. It's a chicken! Roast it! You're fat! You're lazy. You're ugly. You're dumb. You're slow. Your mother crossed the road. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Come on. So slow. There we go. That's that. Medical. Medical. Drink. Got a pair of eggs. Actually, I'll hang on to those because I can make use of this immediately. Or should I? Or should I? I'll hang on to them. For now. Goes in medical. There goes in sell. Sell. Increased. Construction materials. That can go there. That. Whew. There we go. And all the tools come back to me now. And now to acquire 1,000 wood. Or I should actually go visit the trader, because I have stuff. But it would also help if I unloaded my inventory all the way first. Oops. Robotic sledge can go there. Armor parts. Gun gunpowder. I am confused as to why am is blocked. That is very confusing. Dang it, Twitch. Stop banning perfectly normal things.
Meds, drugs, booze.
Yeah,
I've got
but
it all.
the problem is Twitch is an American-based company, and therefore should default to American American culture. That is how it should be, in my not so very humble opinion. Yeah. I'm in the trader. Really? They should definitely pick between the different scare cries, because some of them are more effective than others. For example, that was a pretty good one, sound-wise. Nope. Not in the slightest. Nope. Oh, wow. Military armor schematic. Actually do need that. It's the irony. I need a sweatshirt. It's... Let's see. Is there even anything worth purchasing? Not really.
You
Most
just
everything
brightened my
else I
day.
can be.
I'm glad I
Most
could help
everything
you.
else I can make. There we go. Small upgrade on my cold resistance. That's what they get. Meow. And drop all this off in my base. Meow. And the fact that it is still day 8 is crazy. Okay. 100 of those. 30 of that. And 20 springs. Good. That there, and there. And now I just need 1,000 wood. Again. Still. The only issue would be getting to an area where there are trees. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure... Yep, I can't cut down that tree. Meow. Imagine if it fell on my bicycle and broke it. I'd be sad. I spent good time and effort to craft that bike. So for anyone else who's wondering out there in Lurkerland how you get involved, unfortunately the process of the Twitch interactivity does demand that you actually talk in chat in order to start generating points to do stuff. I know. It's so awful. Nah, you're good, Wabe. I was talking to all those out in Lurkerland. You know, all those wonderful people that are there. Ah, I see. Okay, that actually sounded realistic because that's something that could actually have appeared. That's sad. I already have 2,000 wood. Your wolf ran away. I booped it on the head and it ran away. When they're low on health, they run, and I got him really good right in the head. So he'll be back eventually. They do run away and then they come back, but the question is when. I suppose that's the downside to wolf. I guess. Oh, there it is. See it? You see it? Huh. Oh, there it is. It's still running. I booped him good. I booped him real good. I am not okay with Snake. What I am okay with, though, is with free food. Yeah, snakes are really hard to hit but have really low health. Unfortunately, I am quite cracked at the bow and crossbow. You mean 12 a.m. because 12 p.m. would be noon. Alrighty, see you next time. I'll just be here. I have absolutely no idea. I've kind of had... I had to give up playing Skyrim because every time I tried to, I would get interrupted and prevented on Sunday. So I've more or less given up consistent streams on Sunday. Today was just a fluke that I actually had the time to do so. I'm surprised that wolf never came back. Usually they're pretty quick to come back. But yeah, maybe when I'm good and done with this game, I'll switch back to Skyrim on a more consistent basis on like Thursday or something. Not Thursday, but on Fridays. No, Thursdays. It used to be Friday, that's what it was. Ah. Well, that's one level of crazy endured. I still wonder where that wolf went. It's supposed to come back. And I wouldn't mind getting the free food from it. You know? Ah, well. Is that your parting gift for me? Trying to convince me that you're gone, and then la-di-da, here's the scare before we go. So what you're saying is everything is as I had foreseen. That is not the nitrate dirt. There we go. There we go. I actually do really wonder where that wolf went. But I guess it'll either come back or it won't. You know? I have 125. I can spawn a utility or another meal. But not quite much anything else. I will bank my points. Yeah. If only I knew how to spend the SP points. I don't have any high mats, I just have low mats. And garbage. Arrow mats. And some more rocks. Perfect. Reinforced drawbridge. 20 minutes. And that's why you get multiple workbenches as quickly as possible. Good. Actually, I want to look at this a little bit more. Admin commands. Promotion and events are limited. Ah, Voltpied Parrot, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. We are doing some 7 days to die on day 8, so I failed already. Haha. But we're also using the Twitch interactive point system. And as you have spoken in chat, you are now passively generating points to be able to spawn random things in the game. I'm just checking again some of the things because I'm confused still by these SP points I have over here that I should be able to spawn stuff with those points because I know my account, the streamer account in the Twitch chat, can spawn things in and has pimp points just like everybody else. But then I have these 292 SP over here that I don't know what to do with, or what I can do with. Current game stage. Cooldowns. The pimp pot is the reward for defeating me. All actions add a percentage to the cost of the pimp pot. When I am defeated, the pimp pot is awarded to the viewer who spawned the enemy that performed the kill. Defeating your party members also grants a viewer a small amount of pimp points. That's, I guess, good to know. Penalty debuff, safe zones, I understand that. That's it. It doesn't say anything regarding what these are for. I'll have to look that up later. Oh well. For the time being, I need not a whole lot, to be perfectly honest. I could kill some boars. I need to kill 5 boars. Conveniently, I know where to find some. Actually, I know where to find quite a number of boars. Although 17:03, nighttime will be soon, so do I actually want to do that now? Or should I work on a separate project? I think I should work on a separate project for the moment. Because I had a second thing in mind. And that's to deal with the issue that is this hole. As you can tell, it is very hard to see when you're coming right up onto it. So I was going to make some frames. Maybe about 30 wood frames. And then some catwalks and stairs. Maybe about 15 of those. And these I was going to put like so, surrounding it, and create a new means down into my hole, into my mine. It's also an excuse to have more blocks to upgrade. Switch this for this, and I hold down R to change the shape. Okay. Recycle this for this. Whee! No reason to make the one below more what's the word I'm looking for? There isn't much of a reason to make the layers under the top one any stronger than they need to be, because it's unlikely that those will get attacked. Yes, that's... I should just make it a ladder. Like, really, I should. I don't want to, but I should. Because now I have to contend with the fact that I already messed up. It needs to be 3 by 3 to go down effectively this way. Well, I didn't want to, but I have to. But put the ladder like right here, I think would be the best spot. Boom, boom. There we go. Perfect. For the sake of prettying it up, put a block right here. And the other thing I want is to can't really do that, can I? Palette. What if... What if I flipped it upside down? Perfect. Nice. The last one here. Go like that. For now. Then eventually, the further down I go, I will add other things to pretty it up. But for now, that's sufficient because now it's very noticeable, so I won't accidentally, you know, drive my bike into the hole or something, you know? Let's see. Still 9 minutes on the drawbridge. Still got plenty of iron smeldering away. Add that to that. Add that to there. Dump that. Nope. Add the emergency gun. Hey, random. I have to go up to the surface before it'll work. Yeah, that's the one weird thing is it doesn't work underground. Ow, that probably doesn't help either. Yeah. Yeah. But let's see. Let's see. How many do I have? I could if I wanted to. Except I want to wait 3 seconds. Or 30 seconds. Because I want to supply myself with something different. That's what I want. Yes! Motorcycle. Supply myself with knowledge. And then the other book can be sold. And the rocks can go there. Pretty good. Pretty good. didn't really get to do a whole lot because just lazing about at home, you know. I keep forgetting to grab my cobblestone. Construction materials. There we go. It's clawhammer time. So it's actually funny. Had another person in earlier who was spawning mobs. Spawned a wolf. I hit it in the head once. It ran off and never came back. I was like, huh, that's unusual. Normally they come back. Yay. Hooray! Everything that was wood is now cobble. Fantastic. Now I just need concrete for everything. Luckily, I know where to get a whole lot. It's the same place I'm gonna go kill 5 boars. But let's see. What else could I do in the meantime? Because it's gonna be too dark to go explore that place. That's unfortunate. Or is it, actually? Or is it? I just had a brilliantly nasty idea for the zombies. It involves the fact that I have, already, well, actually this won't be that big of an issue, will it? I guess not, particularly. Yes. This does not harm me in the slightest. finding that entire front. Yeah, I don't understand why this keeps happening. Well, that was easily rectified. I mean, I don't really control the flow of points for anything. I mean... And there it is again. The limiter on how far down I can actually build this trench. Ah! I was not aware that I could do that. Interesting. Ooh, ratchet. There we go. I don't think it's gonna let it happen until we get the right game stage, but a ratchet is still a nice step in the right direction. Have you noticed my interesting little conundrum? was not aware that the underground portions extended beyond the walls of the courtyard. But apparently they do. Which is going to limit how far I can actually go down with this trench. But I suppose that's okay, because I already have a counter plan. I'm going to probably actually go no lower than this. I'll probably dig these dirts and replace them with reinforced concrete, upgrade those exposed portions of the ceiling, and turn it into a small trap area. Nighttime. I wonder if my drawbridge is done so that I know how far I can dig out from under it. Additionally, drawbridge is complete. Good. And out of iron. I can now start on the brass. Actually, just remembered something. Yes. Do I have one? I do not have another beaker. Do I even have one beaker? No, I do not. I require beakers. I will probably find some in the same place that I wish to go on the next day. So many objectives. So simple a solution. My week did you not already ask about my? Yeah, you asked about my weekend already. You're confusing me. Ah. You mean how my kids are great. My kids are absolutely the most angelic things that I have ever worked with. Okay, come on. So there is a spot right there. Awesome. Yes, I am still teaching Minecraft. This drawbridge is off. That makes me very unhappy. Why is it 5 wide? That is unfortunate. Oh well, I can still do this now. Hmm. Well, this is gonna take a hot minute. Well, oh my gosh, really? There's nothing holding that. There's nothing holding it. What is this madness? This is sorcery. This is the game forcing me to break through 10,000 stone HP. Because the game's mean. What a mean game. How rude. Bang, plong, pling, plang, plung, plume, plunk, boom. Finally. Well, that's off, but there's really nothing I can do about it because there's no way to pick it up. I would have to break it, and that's not something I'm willing to do at the moment. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deba. Oof. Okay, let's see. It is day 9 now. And all of that were good. I need so much concrete to accomplish what I have in mind. I should have repaired. I keep forgetting about repair kits. Yeah, I'm gonna need that too. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot about all that. Eventually I'll start working on that storage. Eventually. But for the time being... Because of course I am so cold, because, you know, I don't have access to any kind of jacket. At all. Dare I get started extra early? I think I dare. So the location that I am looking for, if I go nice and slow, even the passing by zombies will not see me. So if we go just past this glorious little daycare where I got my steel club, best melee weapon in the game, just past here, there is a fantastic building. My character is cold, yes, because I have had no real luck in finding clothing. Just gonna point out that me and that zombie just casually walked past each other with nothing. So now if we take a small detour. Yes, there it is. So if I go out behind this here, go across the way, where is that building? I know it's around here. I also find it amusing there's a whole bunch of zombies around me who just can't seem to see me. It is also curious that I cannot find this thing that I know is here somewhere. I've seen the building multiple times. I know it's here. Oh, I know why. Because it's on the other side. I remember now. Huh. Oh, that's where... Yep, it's over here. Not over... It wasn't over by the daycare. It was in this direction. So that's the church. And then you come down around over here. Between the church and the trader. So that's the trader down over there. Am I blind? There it is. Yep, I knew it was right here. Then we would find this particular house. Bob's Boars and Carl's corn. Carl has some very, very special kind of corn. And Bob has some very, very special kinds of boars. These doors are locked. I will not be entering from this direction. Grace. Ah. Some lovely cobblestone. Some more lovely cobblestone. Another locked door. But I believe there is a way in there. And this is where and how we shall enter. That's one more dead. Died of its own volition. Two more is dead. It is okay. The bacon will be put to a very, very good use. we go. Yes, seriously. Hi, Piggy. Bye, Piggy. Finally, I have some sort of overcoat. Seriously. I would not even fathom on wasting this bacon. How curious that they painted the entire floor red, except for that one spot. Isn't that weird? Painted. There we go. Motorcycle. Heh. There's a box. Where? Up in the thing. I don't see no box. Is it one that I'll see clearer later? So I don't see no box in here right now. Yeah, I just see spikes that you fall into. So there's probably further stuff upstairs. Sneak, sneak, sneak. Sneak, sneak, sneak. Sneak, 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 sneak. Because zero trust. Zero trust. Absolutely zero trust. I honestly do not know. I'm going to have to assume that it is a non-zero amount. Got him. Ooh. Before we do that, right in the eye. That was unusual. Oh well, it's just a purse. It's not going to have anything useful in it. Well, daytime. Okay. There we go. Oh look, a pigskin couch. Alrighty. Another pen for Grace. Trash can. Nothing on the toilet. Just a can in the cupboard. Nowhere to go but out. That way just leads back the way we came. Or the secondary option is to go this way. so much concrete. I mean, I suppose technically I shouldn't be able to go this way, but since when has that stopped anyone before? I mean, really. Shush. Ah, look how peacefully it's trying to pretend to sleep. It thought it could hide from me there. Covered in jars. Yucca seed. Boiled meat. Recipe. Assorted bullets. Is that all? Really? That was all? Medical pile. Pill case. Empty jars and a medical pile kind of unnerves me because that's kind of worthless. Super corn. Not to be confused with the far more edible regular corn. And that's that there. Nothing. Nothing. Stop banging on my door. How rude. Ooh. Yeah. How many bags of concrete does one person need? Many. So many. question is, where am I supposed to go? Ah, has to be this way. Yep. Presence of unharvested concrete tells me so. Oh, this is dead corn. Yep. This is gonna completely spur onward all of my necessary upgrades. If I ever get the chance to reset this building, I must take it. Because the sheer volume of concrete is just, it's ludicrous. I am not quite sure where I'm intended to go. The roof, perhaps? Somehow I don't think the roof is the correct choice. Which then tells me I was supposed to go from the pig pen side over to this side. Which makes sense with this entrance. Which then leads to right here. And this guy. Consolidating that inventory. There we go. So many resources, and I haven't even found the end room yet, you know? Apparently I have hit a new game stage, I guess. go. Haha! Nice try, game. Single piece of paper, gross. Here, and I do not know where we go. I guess we're supposed to go this way. Over this way. I don't know. Around here, maybe? I don't particularly see an entrance. You know, I really don't have inventory for that. Although I will take the staple gun. Supposed to end up here. Into here. But my original exit was there. So the only boost that I have is to go here and then go through that area with the super corn, I guess. Because I know the backdoor entrance into the rest of this place. I don't want to use it if I don't have to. But it is seeming that I'm not going to be given that much of a choice. So if I recall correctly, this area is actually supposed to be open. Get through, you know. Yes, you just got me the staple gun. Ow! What did I do? I see. No, nope, not yet. That, just grab the can, and now I have room for all of those. And a whole bunch of parts and stuff that I don't have room for. Woo! And even more stuff that I don't really have room for. And let's not forget the existence of Grace. The giant zombie boar. Ah. Nice and slow. Oh boy. So much stuff. Oops. See, that is the thing. Ahem. As you can probably guess, all of those are primed to break the minute any weight's put over them, just like so. And this was the place I was trying to get into, but the door to do so was covered. Now a pile. My schedule? You mean for this stream or in general? Very, very tough decisions on what to keep and what to get rid of. Oops. So much concrete. So many bodies. Oh, hello. That is a munitions box that is just hiding. Let's see. What could I abandon? Painkillers for a weapon mod. Do I have small rocks in here somewhere? I thought I did, but it doesn't look like it. That is unfortunate. That's what we'll do. Random, I don't know what schedule to which you refer. For this particular stream or weekly for my streams. Uh-oh. Yep, I'll have to abandon that boiled meat recipe, which, to be fair, isn't really worth a whole lot. Claw hammer. Steel arrowheads. Steel tool parts. This is unfortunate. We'll abandon that for that. Really like the steel arrowheads. I suppose I can ditch the coal because I can get as much of that as I want elsewhere, and it's just 4 casino coins that can be broken down into something else. Lead, I can get that. Empty generator bank. Okay, so where was this door hiding? Really? It was... Oh my gosh, I'm dumb. It was right there in front of my face the whole time. This way. There we go. Creepity crawl along here as quickly as the game permits us to. Then you fight the boar, then you make your way up it this way to where all the fattest of loots are hiding. Come on. Up you get. Come on. There we go. Rifle parts. I can disassemble this hunting rifle and combine those. Because those will now merge together. Good. If I put these bullets in here, take a modification like this one out of the boots, put it into the leather armor. I can then grab this modification that is exclusively for boots and pop that in. I wonder... No, I cannot modify that with a mod that is not applicable. Unfortunate. Gun already has one. I wonder if we put this here. And I swap that for that. And then we go to the crossbow. No, it cannot learn that. Unfortunate. I tried. Let's see. Well, I can eat the last grilled meat. That gives me an extra inventory spot. And I don't need the cloth. That just leaves all of that. Ah! You see the issue that this becomes quite quickly when you're overburdened so easily. I don't really need any of these because I can't make anything with them, to be fair. So I can just leave them. As much as I wouldn't particularly want to. I can always come back for them if I really desired. Untouched garbage, and then it gives me nails. Of course it gives me nails. Anything to be just that last little bit of as it twists it right in. Ah. But yes, the greatest of all POIs, the Super Corn location. One on every map. Only place you can get Super Corn. What does Super Corn do, you might ask? Super Corn is the best means of getting glue. Better than bones. I missed. That was annoying. Let's see. I need to go... Where do I need to go? This way. Back to get back to base. Ah, yes, I see. Precisely. To be fair, the acquisition of the staple gun is actually going to be quite handy because it will decrease the time that it takes for me to make upgrades by half. So suddenly I will just be flying through the upgrade phases. Come on. Come on. There we go. Oh, we made it. Shotgun shells. Level 4 shotgun. Put that right there. Pull that mod out of that. Replace that back. Reopen the box. I don't know why the music always likes to stop. Steel arrowheads. Yay. Claw hammer is a construction. And a second claw hammer. So I have the special requirements to make 2 whole more workbenches, which will be fantastic. I may do so. May. Parts. Rifle parts, steel tool parts, motorized tool parts. Another weapon mod. I now have a burst and a semi. Crafting materials. Do that. And the bones. And the flesh. And the fur. And polymer. Assorted bullets. Assorted bullets. Construction material. Cobblestone rocks. Times a lot. Food, drink. Empty jars. Good, good. Oh. Excessive amounts of meat. We are rolling in meat. Rolling in it. High tier mats. More acid. Armor parts. More gunpowder. Oil shale. Medical. Antibiotics. Crafting nitrate. Food and animal fat. Sorry if it seems like I'm blindly jumping around on all these. It's hard to keep together exactly what one goes where on the fly. And how to make 800 concrete mix. 1, 2, 3, and some. Which means I require sand. So much sand. And now to create 3 supercorn seeds. Crafting mats. Supercorn will go in here. Oop. And that mod. Fabulous. Completely fabulous. Craft another mushroom spore. Plant down yet another. And we will just keep pressing onward to connect these 2 grave areas. Random hidden garbage pile. And another point to spend. Yay! I feel like Physician 2 would be a good pick. Ideally, I'll be covering a lot of the inside grounds here with a lavish garden, separating things out and so forth, but for the time being, this one super large one in the back will be sufficient for what I need. Oh my gosh, the ability to actually run. Itch. Perfect, another mushroom spore. Four yucca is probably enough for now. Definitely want the corn seed. Ah! I did not know that I could make grass seeds. Nor do I think I would ever want to. Crafting mad. Those two. I see. I see. Just powering your way through all those ads for me. Oh, if I was to get an auger, I would be so happy. I need 50 and 40. I do not have sufficient parts. That is unfortunate. Let's see. What was the other? I was going to... Yes. That, and that. And that. More farm plots, please. Good. Good, good, good. Yes. And I need food of some manner. I still don't have potatoes or anything to really work with. That is unfortunate. This day I require now sand? Yes. And what would that be? Naturally. Because of the spoil command, I assume. Yeah. on the plus side, I am learning so much about this for when it gets back to being able to be with Brodenheim in his file. That's going to be fun to go back to in September. Or September about, something like that. I was trying to see if it could drum up some more some more attendance. It did not succeed. Yep. I just have to treat it just like the fanfiction website that took me forever to become moderately well known on. You just gotta reach that critical mass of people, and suddenly you become a known entity. Unfortunately, it seems the people of Twitch are a lot more particular on what they want to see out of a streamer than what I am proclive, than what I am normally leaning towards. I'm not loud or obnoxious or anything. At least I try not to be. I can be sometimes. So much sand. And yet, I need... I find it amusing that normally... Hello, welcome, and thanks for the follow, Haas. Welcome to the stream. More sand. Come on, more sand. Nope. There we go. Ah. There we go. Just the fact that this thing just keeps winding further and further in and giving me more and more of the different metals is just ridiculous, and I love it. Ah! I is stuck. I is no longer stuck. I have dug too greedily and too deep. Do you know what I awoke in the depths of Khazad-dûm? Shadow, and flame. 1200 sand? Maybe? Might be sufficient for... That is dirt. I don't want that. Kablam! I don't understand why the wandering hordes are so much more common now than they used to be. Like, normally I would see, like, maybe there'd be, like, a phase of, like, 2 or 3 of them, and then you just never see them again. But here, it's been just constant. I don't understand why. There we go. Now we have 1,000, 3, 4, 5, 1,500, over 2,000 concrete mix ready to go, or chugging away. Ditch that. Nope, I want... That goes here. Oop. That there, and that there, and yeah. I am hurting for wood though. Well, not really, but kind of. So now the concrete mix is going. I can grab that, and the staple gun, and these. Staple gun. Oh, I need one other thing. There we go. I don't need those immediately, but I will need those in due time. Do is sneak down under here where this line is, and turn all this into concrete. And you can see how the staple gun makes this so much more efficient, because I can just done. And then there's another hole of it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2, and I'm out. Almost done. I'm not going to bother with the back run because I'm going to put the rebar blocks going up, and this inner part here is going to get replaced with this reinforced concrete. But now that this inner one is that way, we want to line this with spikes. All the way across right there, like that. Temporary defense. Well, temporary, by which I mean this is the intended defense in the long term for this. All the ones that are concrete will get this. I'll wait so that I can upgrade those, at least to concrete. That's going to take a fair amount of time. I can put these down while I'm waiting. 2, 1, like that, so I can turn that off. Because nothing worse than wasting fuel. Nothing worse. I am surprised that the Supercorn area did not give me a beaker. Perfect. Now, unfortunately, to fill in these rebar frame blocks, it requires 20 concrete mix because it goes straight to reinforced. So I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot with them until this massive one right here of 1,000 is done. But I can at least finish off some of that the cobblestone that's on the ground. I can at least go and finish that off and get some rudimentary defenses in place that I can then build off of later. Nope, I want a staple gun. For the time being. And then ideally what I intend is I will dig down. Woo! Like so. And then I will go up one. Up two. And those will immediately become reinforced concrete. So then I will have a parapet or a smaller, lower wall in front of a larger wall. Actually, that will be 3 high like this. And the reason I want it all the way down is so that when the zombies fall into that little pit, they can't just bash their way through the dirt and do unnecessary amounts of damage. But I only have 50 concrete left, so I don't really have the resources on hand to finish that off at the second. So I'll use that 50 right there to reinforce that pillar. The reason these aren't upgraded is because I'm mashing the upgrade button. I just can't interact with them for whatever reason. I can only interact with the full wall. And then eventually I'm going to put a step up here to get to it. Probably concrete as well. But yes. Sitting pretty good right now. Good check on some of those resources. Like, I know the concrete's gonna take a good while. Like the half hour alone on the half hour alone on this one is half a day. So that's just, it's not gonna be done anytime soon. So I can dump this into construction material for the moment. That there. Put those in there as well. Oh, that also goes in there. What is my game stage currently? 61. Might as well get rid of these while I'm here. You know, it's the craziest thing. That is another nail gun, sir. I don't think I am quite at the game stage where I can get motorized tools just yet. Possibly. I have 125. What could I get myself? Maybe. Ammo, don't really care about that. Oh, I could do a meal. I always like a good meal. Hey, steak and potatoes. Something better than meat. And a bartering one. Nice. Wahahaha. I still have absolutely no idea how to use the SP that I have acquired in the actual game, though. I don't know. I will have to look that up at some point. Let's see. What I need is this, but that requires a beaker. And it is 1900. I can't go check the... I can't go and check the trader because they're not available at the moment. There we go. 31 cold resist. Now I won't get cold. Maybe. Hopefully. Yes, we're having... Yeah. Mayhaps. Mayhaps it be time. Am I an electrician? Yes, I am. It might be time to consider getting a generator and some power going. But I feel like I need the chemistry station before I can get that started. It would be wise to have the chemistry station first. You know? Just a smidge wise. But yes, it is approaching that darkness. What I really want to do is I want to turn this into a small armory. So put all of the boxes here that hold all the guns and weapons and stuff. That's what I'd like to do. That way I don't have to go all the way down to get weapons if necessary. That's an eventual project. I'm having a thought via electrical that would be very amusing to do. Especially since I have the dart traps. I actually did research dart traps and I liked what I saw. I did. And so I'm planning on putting them there where that altar is, facing toward the front door, just in case the zombies get in somehow. Or at least I had been when there was just a regular path and not the drawbridge. But now that the drawbridge is there, it seems kind of a moot point. Because they'd have to climb up and break quite a bit to be able to get in. Of course, right now, this whole dirt section is kind of my biggest weakness. So I need to continue getting a large cycle of more and more concrete to fill that whole area in. It's going to be a much larger project to expand the cathel just a touch more, since I can't make the same level of trench that I normally would. But yes, it's been over 3 hours, so this is actually pretty decently strong session. We finished the wall, we got a drawbridge, we put a cover on the mine. We actually got the trench down to apparently our maximum depth because of predicament. Completely solved the food issue. Acquired the super corn. Acquired more concrete powder than I know. Well, acquired a significant amount of concrete powder, for which I now need sand and small rocks. You know, an auger would always come in handy for that. But, you know, can't have everything at every exact moment that you want it. Seriously, if I had an auger, I could shred those rocks right now and be able to have all of the small stones that I needed. But things will come in due time. Things will come in due time. I know. I know. 3 hours and not lukewarm. In the meantime, I still need to locate more seeds to get this garden up and running a lot better. I need more corn, more potatoes, because the rate at which they are growing and reproducing themselves is not as quick as it could be. I probably need to consider devoting more points into fortitude to get that last living off the land right there. That's a 3-point investment to be able to get a third item off of crops, but that means every 2 plants I can create a new seed instead of every 3. So that does add up over time. But yes, I think that will all have to wait until Thursday next.